am Candace Harris from BoardGameGeek. I'm here again with Sam and Moon from Korea Board Games, and now we're taking a look at World Changers. Wow, this looks cool. I love all the historical figures on the box and the art style. Can you guys tell us what World Changers is all about? How do you play it?
Yeah, of course. This is all about basically drafting your historical dream team, and you're pretty much competing to see which player makes the best historical draft. So just to show you a few specific cards on my screen. So there's three different types of cards. Well, I'll just highlight one of the cards first. This is Nelson Mandela. If you look at the top of the card, there's legacy points, and pretty much to win the game, you need the most points to leave the biggest legacy, the biggest total legacy. And if you look at the bottom of the card, it shows the effect, but then not all effects are the same. For example, if you compare Nelson Mandela with Florence Nightingale, Nelson Mandela is blue, Florence Nightingale is yellow, and this highlights the different types of effects these are. So blue effects mean that the effects happen right away. Yellow means they're trigger effects, so they're conditional. Some condition happens, then the effect can happen. And finally, there's a purple card. This is Plato. It's an end game effect, so the effect only triggers at the end of the game. So you have to mix up these kind of cards, make the best historical draft, and get the most points.
Oh, cool.
So basically, that's
cool.
It.
So you're drafting from the table, so there'll be a certain amount of cards laid out, and players will like each take a turn taking a card. Okay. Can you maybe show us a sample turn, or we could have Lincoln do it if that's easier.
We could do it at the same time to see, and I'll see if there's anything wrong. So basically, if we have a two-player game, for example, you'll have 6 cards per player. So basically, if it's Sam and me playing, then we'd have 12 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the rest of the cards you would discard, and you wouldn't look at it because, you know, it has to be random. Basically, 2 cards each when you start the game. And in the middle of the table, you make the void, which is pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4 cards and a draw pile. And the 4 cards you open. And let's say I was the first person to go. All I would have to do, I have 2 cards in my hand. I would either place one of those cards in front of me, or take one of the 4 open cards and make it my member. So example, if I made, let's say Cleopatra my member, that would be fine. That's -3 points, but the effect is you cannot pass. And this game is heavily based on a pass mechanic, so you can force people to pass, steal their cards. So let's say this is my card now. There are 3 cards in the void. Before your turn ends, you have to fill the void until it's at least 4. And how do you do this? First, you have to take from your hand. So I would have to give up, for example, Pericles, and then I would draw until my hand is 2 again. And then the turns keep going, and the game would end when either the void is empty or if all players pass in succession. So that's pretty simple rules, but I mean, each of the effects are pretty unique, as you can imagine. So,
and then depending on what kind of draft members you brought in, and also depending on the effects, your draft members could be pretty powerful later on. It could give you a lot of points. It might really prevent other people from really having to think about their next action, because it'll lead to very big consequences later on.
Okay, and then
for example,
so
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. You go.
Okay.
I just
wanted to show you one of the examples. This card is Joan of Arc. You can't really read it, but I'll read it for you. Pretty much it's 3 points, and if all players with the highest number of members on the field, all players with the highest number of members must pass on their next turn. So imagine you have 2 cards and everyone else has 3 cards. Basically, if you put this card down, you can make everyone pass, and then it's an end condition. And if you have higher points, then you win the game automatically. So basically, you have to play around either highest points or you force the game to end early by making the other players pass.
Interesting,
So
interesting.
Yeah, different ways to win the game.
Oh,
yeah, and I was just gonna say, I was just gonna ask. So it's just you add up your score, your points on your cards at the end, and then if you have any of the cards that have end game conditions, and that's your final score, and you see who wins. Is that about how it goes?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So also, I wanted to point out that this also comes with a booklet that shows you the many different, or I guess all the historical figures found in the game. And what's nice about this is it comes with a nice little historical mini biography. And right at the bottom, it also lets you know what the abilities are. But what's pretty cool about this is the effects that you see in all these cards here, each of them are based on what that historical figure has done in the past or what makes them famous. So it kind of, their effects aren't just random. It kind of relates to that historical figure that it represents. So it's a pretty little cool thing, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a nice bonus. I've been loving games that, where you can learn something from them, and it's also like just a fun game to play. So that's awesome. I also really dig the art style on the cards. Yeah, maybe we could show off a couple more of them.
Card, Joan of Arc.
Yeah, her outfit's awesome. Love the Martin Luther King. I love MLK being on the box cover too.
Yeah.
Cool. What are those tokens down there?
We tried to get as many figures as we can. Of course, we would have liked to have more people from more timelines and different backgrounds. But first, we're going to keep it pretty light. It's a 10-minute game. First time you play it, maybe it takes about 20 minutes because you have to get used to each ability. But maybe after 1 or 2 games, each game should be around 10 minutes.
Cool. And yeah, I was just wondering what those tokens were that Lincoln just put up on the blue screen.
Oh, sure. I can show you what these are. Basically, these tokens are player tokens. So each token is for one player. So this is player 1, player 2, player 3, and 4. And I mentioned earlier that this game was heavily based on making the other person or yourself pass. And if you force someone to do it, or if you want to pass, basically you can flip over your token. Everyone's pass looks the same. So if the icon looks like this, that player is going to pass.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Those nice tokens. Awesome. Well, we have a couple more minutes left, Sam and Moon. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to mention about World Changers. Is this currently available? I know we talked about Monster Dentist, but how can people get World Changers?
Right now, we're hoping to get it in Korea maybe around December, but worldwide, hopefully it'll come out next year. This year, internationally, I don't think it'll be out, but hopefully it'll come to everyone pretty soon.
Cool. Well, thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to add or anything else Korea board games related that you might want to mention while we have a couple more minutes?
Well, you could come visit our YouTube channel. It's got a bunch of video clips of tutorials for all these new games. And we actually recently just uploaded a play together kind of clip where we brought in 3 outside people to come and try our new games for the first time. So it really shows how the game is played, what the rules are like, and how people can interact with one another as they play the game. So it's a fun way to get familiar with our games.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Sam and Moon.
That channel is KBG Publishing.
Cool. Get it in there. Cool. Thank you again, Sam and Moon, for showing us World Changers today.
Yep.
It was our pleasure. Thanks for having us.